Alright y'all, good morning. It's pitch black out. I'm sorry I'm filming in this darkness, but that's just how it is. And since it's so dark and spooky out today, I thought I'd bring you the world according to romance about the history of Halloween. Now, first, before we get into this show, there are some religious things that I want to iron out, okay? I am right now a Christian. We'll get into that in a minute. Alright, there's going to be like a lot of talk about paganism on this show. If you're a real ultra-Orthodox Christian, you might not dig this because Halloween is not anything. There's nothing Christian about Halloween. Alright, so today is the 30th of the month. Tomorrow is actually Halloween. Halloween is a beautiful fucking holiday in America because it is a blend of, it is both an American invention holiday and it is an ancient holiday all in one. The real Halloween was started by probably even before the Celts. Like, it's probably that old that like before even Celts were in Scotland or Ireland or Britain or whatever, they had this holiday because it's an agricultural holiday. The Celts believed in the 8-wheel year, okay, and there's 8 holidays in the 8-wheel year. And they are as follows, and you may recognize some of them because they have been mowed over into Christianized into what you know today. Number 1 holiday is Yule. We call it Christmas. That is actually the new year in Celtic. Number 2 is February 1st. It's called Lammas, but we call it Groundhog's Day now. Somehow it's midwinter, the midwinter festival. All of it revolves around agriculture. If you are farming in 10,000 BC, you need to know when the fucking spring is coming and when the spring is ending and when the summer is coming and when the crops can grow. And this was how they did it. They marked it with festivals, you know, to honor the gods and hopefully get better crops. All right, the third holiday of the year occurs on March 21st every single year. And it's called Ostara, but we now call it Easter. The church took that one over too. The next holiday is called Beltane. That happens on May 1st. We no longer celebrate it in this country. The government took that away from us. It was once called May Day. Now it is called Memorial Day. We celebrate it later. And then there is, of course, June 21st, the longest day of the year. Then there's August 1st, Lugnasa, not one of our holidays. There's September 21st, an equinox day. March 21st is also an equinox. And then there is November 1st / October 31st, which is the holiest day of the year in all Celtic in Wicca. If you're Wicca is the modern form of Celtic religion, ancient Celtic religion. Some people heinously call it witchcraft. And that is how witches and spooky shit got associated with Halloween. You see, the Celts believe that on this day of the year, they call it Samhain. They spell it S-A-M-H-A-I-N. I pronounce it Samhain, but the correct pronunciation is Samhain, okay? And this was a festival that, again, they believed it was for agriculture, but they also believe that on this day of the year, there is a world of dead people all around us walking around. And like the curtain, the veil between those two worlds, the dead and the living, comes up and they intersperse amongst each other. So it's a dangerous night because the spirits are out. And if the spirits are angry with you for some reason, if you've done something wrong in the last year, they may come and do harm to you. So the best thing to do is to honor them with bonfires and festivals and spell work and all that shit. Now, just on a personal level, I have been Wicca in my life before. I've practiced Wicca. I've practiced, again, it's called witchcraft. I really don't like that term witch. That's a negative thing that the church started calling anyone who would not accept Christianity, but definitely it was used against women. I mean, if you know anything about Wicca, I think, personally, my knowledge of Wicca, I'm not Wiccan anymore. A lot of it has to do with like family and friends, like walking up to someone and saying, you know, I believe in Jesus Christ and it's no big deal. walking up to someone and saying, oh, well, I hope that the great God love and the great God is Bridget marry, make love, and make a baby tonight, that freaks people out. But that's the type of shit you got to believe in Wicca. And also the Celts believe that every year is a baby, is a man. It starts out as a baby at the beginning of the new year, and then at the end of the new year, it's an old dying man. Right now, every year that baby is born on December 21st. A new baby is born, a new king. That's, again, the Christians just took that and ran away with it. But that old man dies on Halloween in their belief. So, like, this is the time of the year of death. And then, or the rebirth is on December 21st. I mean, basically, if you are Christian, especially if you're European descent, but at any point, if you're Christian, unless you're like actually a Jew from Israel that followed the actual Jesus 2,000 years ago, you are not truly a Christian. Somewhere down the line, someone came up to somebody that was your ancestor in your family and said, do you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior? And they said, no. I said, all right, well, do you want to still keep worshiping rocks and trees and God, those type of gods and shit? And they said, yeah, that's my original religion. And then they stuck a knife through that person, and then they said, next, do you believe in Jesus Christ? And that guy said, oh, yeah, Jesus Christ is my Savior. And that is really how Christianity and most monotheisms, well, there is only one other monotheism. There's Judaism and there's Islam. So Christianity is just an offshoot of Judaism. So the monotheism seeks to do that. If you do not accept it, they will kill you. And that is why it is the most widespread thing on earth. I know my history. You can argue with me all day. And I love Jesus and I love the Bible, and I take good things from everything. So, but I do have Wiccan tendencies, shall we say, and I am starting to think, I keep praying to God, I'm starting to think he's not there. Maybe I should go back to Wicca, but I don't know. If any of my viewers have an answer for that, please throw it down in the comments below. So anyway, it was Samhain, all right, and then this was all the way through pagan Scotland. Well, pagan Scotland ended, there you go, Cone. Pagan Scotland ended in 609 AD with St. Columba, who, you know, St. Patrick gets all the love in Ireland, but St. Columba Christianized Scotland. So from that point on, they started to put the clamps down on this Halloween celebrating shit. And since the Christian, but they couldn't, because everyone was so pagan, they refused to accept Jesus, and they refused to let go of their old style of celebrating holidays. So, all right, the Christian monks and the Christians in charge in Scotland said, all right, let's do something here. Let's make we're going to Christianize this holiday. We're going to make it from a pagan celebration of witches and ghosts to into like a Christian holiday. So we're going to make November 1st All Saints Day. That way, the night before will be All Saints Evening. And another word for saints is hallowed. If you are hallowed, you are a saint. So we'll call the night before it All Hallows Eve. And somehow that got mumbled and jumbled into the word Halloween. That's where the word came from. Now that lasted for hundreds of years, and that evolved as a holiday. And how it evolved was that All Hallows Day, they would give out free food. And beggars started getting all antsy-pantsy and being like, and biting off more than they could chew. They started, like, on All Hallows evening, the beggars around Scotland started getting all crazy and started doing pranks and started like give me food. It got to the point where like, give me food or I'm gonna like light you on house on fire, or I'm gonna throw an egg at your house or some shit like that. So that's exactly what the All Saints Day turned into, a Christian holiday of beggars. Now, in 1605, all right, now, and again, this is in Scotland, but Scotland and England are very close, and a lot of their customs, you know, it fed over to England and bled down into England. So English people started celebrating All Saints Day just the same way. You know, I mean, bums would show up, and then still there was people in the background celebrating Samhain and still kind of doing it in secret and going against the wishes of the church and celebrating All Saints Day. kind of almost the way we do Halloween in America. Like, we know it, we're all Christian, we say we're Christian, but like we celebrate spooky shit on Halloween and listen to scary stories and blah blah blah, and like really, you know, dressing up in a costume on Halloween is pagan, as much as you don't like to believe it. But anyway, in 1605, a dude named Guy Fawkes tried to blow up Parliament, a rebel in England. If you've ever seen any, like, in the modern resistance on Facebook, they'll show you a Guy Fawkes mask. It's that guy smiling with a little thin pencil mustache. That's Guy Fawkes. He tried to blow up Parliament. It didn't work, but somehow, and he got busted and he got hanged and quartered and killed for it, but it somehow, his legacy went on. Guy Fawkes Day, it was November 5th. November 5th is basically Britain's Halloween. And they have bonfires, and everyone dresses in masks and costumes, and that's where the beginning of Halloween came from. And then now we're getting to 1605, so English people are slowly trickling across the ocean to America. All right, and they're bringing some of their customs with them. Now, once the English get to America, we don't have any word, or Halloween kind of disappears from our knowledge until Nathaniel Hawthorne in the mid to late 1800s. He was a writer who Nathaniel Hawthorne wrote the Scarlet Letter, all right? He wrote a lot about things that happened 200 years before his time. He was an antiquarian writer. He wrote secondhand, like he wrote about things, shit that already happened in the past. And he wrote about Halloween. The first reference to Halloween in America is in one of his writings. And it's also the first time that anywhere we can find where a pumpkin was used, because for some reason the Scots used turnips. They carved open turnips and put faces in them. And I don't see how the fuck a candle fits in a turnip. I don't even know what the hell a turnip is, but when it got to America, there was no turnips. We had pumpkins, and they worked a lot better. And that's where you get the whole idea of carving out a pumpkin. If you carve out a pumpkin and put a spooky face in it, put a candle in it, put the pumpkin on a stick, and then put a sheet over the stick, it looks like a ghost with a pumpkin head. That is beginnings of like what you're knowing as Halloween. All right, now we're gonna flash forward to the Civil War. The Civil War in America was devastating. There was more people that died in that war than all of the other wars combined still to this day. So many people died in the Civil War. It was crazy, and there was no communication, there was no cell phones. A lot of people went away, and their families and their loved ones were like, well, maybe they'll come back. Maybe he's still alive. Maybe Johnny will come running home one of these days. So one way to cope with it was ghost stories, and that is, in America, what we know of as Halloween kind of started after the Civil War. Now, trick-or-treating was kind of going on, but it was more tricking than treating at this point. So the people are still celebrating Halloween. They're calling it Halloween. The word Samhain's gone. It's the late 1800s, the early 1900s in America, okay? And also, with the Civil War, you had a humongous amount of both Scotch and Irish people coming to America to fight in the war and to emigrate and to escape the potato famine. That is how my family got here. They got so broke after the potato famine that they got evicted from Ireland and sent to prison in Australia. Their boat sank on the Atlantic and they ended up here. But anyway, there's a lot of Irish and Scottish people coming to America after the Civil War, and there was a lot of them that fought in it, so they were right around the right age group. And when Irish and Scottish people got here, they did act a lot rowdier. They were trouble. They were drunken fools a lot of times. The word paddy wagon, for instance, for a police van that houses many prisoners at once, paddy is a negative word for Irish people. That it was invented device was invented for Irish people because they were so crazy. So the children of and the children's children of these people still celebrated Samhain and still acted all wild on the night of October 31st. And they would go around, little kids especially in America, because police as we know them did not exist like they do today. There was hardly any police. you could get away with murder, literally, and kids went around from house to house and just were trashing people's houses, throwing shit at it, eggs, breaking windows, just doing mischief night. So eventually people got smart and they said, look, man, look, if you don't trash my house, if you promise not to trash my house, I'm gonna give you these candy bars. How about that? And then you go away, get off my property. It worked. Somehow the kids liked that. So, and they would go to every house and threaten them, look, man, we're either gonna trash your house or you give us candy bars. We're either gonna pull a trick or you treat us. And that is how the trick or treat came into the world. And of course, the costumes, that came from the Guy Fawkes thing, but like that always, you want to blend in with the spirits of the other world somehow. In the 20th century, it went commercialized. Suddenly Halloween wasn't, especially after World War II, we got to the point where like we're no longer gonna even worry about the Christian factor of this holiday. We're just gonna let it be a kids' holiday where the kids dress up, march around and get candy. And it's been working like a charm in America ever since. And it's a great holiday because of it. There's a lot of worse things kids could be doing with themselves than trick-or-treating. So when you see an older teenage kid come to your house, give them candy, don't give them a hard time. They could be fucking up. So, you know, the modern way that you understand Halloween, that's how it came to be. And it's only just picked up and gotten stronger and more commercialized and more fabric of our society. But I want to say one more thing about Halloween and its evolution. And it's something that I like, but I'm going to piss off a lot of people with it. I noticed it around 2002, 2003. We are now in America so deeply entrenched in the feminist movement and women power, and it's so fucking, in my opinion, out of control, that one way you can see this out of controlness and maybe laugh about it or enjoy it, you know, we live in a world where, like, if you look at a girl wrong, she could be calling you #MeToo the next day and you could be getting locked up. But there's one night of the year that has transformed into a night where women dress like hoes. Yup, it's Halloween. Somehow, like, you could be going out with Mary who had a little lamb, and on Halloween night, she could be fucking Jenna Jameson for Halloween. I've been loving it. It's only been like the last 15 years where girls are really dressing like hoes. And maybe it's because I've lived in Bethlehem the last couple of years where there's lots of colleges and young, sexy girls. And I'm also always playing gigs on Halloween. But nevertheless, like, Halloween has turned into a strange holiday of, like, somehow that there's this one night of the year where women can be anything they want, and a lot of them choose to be sexy. So I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I don't know if it's a hallmark of like male slavery or a great holiday, but there it is. It's, you know, it is what it is. And God bless all you girls who dress slutty for Halloween. Keep it coming. My name's Romance. This is the World According to Romance. That's the history of Halloween. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Comment on Facebook. It's the Breakfast Nook. It's Tuesday, October 30th. Enjoy your day, people. Happy Halloween. Peace.